making the good for you and then what you charge.
Now you're talking. Now.
Because
they're not going to tell you that it costs $3 to make in China.
Exactly. So it's like, that's why on some level I get the Trump administration be like, nah, don't do this. You were making this, you were charging 300% more for this item, and now that they're the tariffs, you want to blame it on us? You guys were gouging like a motherfucker before. Stop using this as an excuse.
In this video, we join Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne on their podcast, Brilliant Idiots. Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne discuss the so-called recession that we're all supposed to be bracing for. With that, let's watch Andrew Schulz school Charlamagne on what's really going on with the economy.
I was reading this great article that talks about the tariff to recession timeline.
Okay.
And on April 2nd, tariffs were announced. Container ship departures from China to the U.S. slowed down. Early to mid-May, they say container ships to U.S. ports will come to a stop. Mid to late May, trucking demand comes to a halt, leading to empty shelves and lower sales for companies. Late May to early June, layoffs in trucking and retail industries. Summer 2025 will be a recession. Now, I listen to the economists, right? But who I listen to is the people. And all week long, especially this week in particular, truck drivers and people who work at the ports have been calling Breakfast Club, just warning us of the inevitable. And, you know, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. There's a port in Charleston that got one cargo ship that will be arriving on May 10th. And then the ports are shutting down. Charleston gets from China 200,000 to 500,000 containers each month. There are major port of goods from China that come into the U.S. So what I would tell Brilliant Idiot listeners is start stocking up.
I thought about that.
Start stocking up.
Stocking up on what?
I guess whatever it is you're not going to be able to get. Like, you know, they say by the summertime you're going to see empty shelves.
But like what specifically? Are we talking about deodorant? Are we talking about diapers?
Please,
like,
deodorant, especially during the summer.
Like I go.
For my studio, for example, I bought extra equipment because I know electronics is going to go.
But what about regular everyday people? That's a great question Schulz is asking.
Is it granola? Is it cereal? Or is that manufactured here? Is it diapers? Is it toothpaste? Like, what are the things that we should get ahead of if we can now that are going to be, because it's, okay, so this is the confusing thing about the tariffs. Are the tariffs stopping goods from coming here, or are they stopping people?
Andrew asks a great question. Well, what goods are you talking about? Because there's between 100 and 200 product categories that China's already lifted their tariffs on. Why don't you hear about it? Well, one, because the mainstream news media is not going to tell you, because that's a positive sign for Donald Trump. Two, President Xi wants it to stay quiet. The Chinese people are getting frustrated and restless. That's not good for him. Talk about these ports being shut down and everything. The United States is by far the biggest purchaser of goods from China. So all the news wants to talk about is how bad it is here, which I haven't met a single person that says they're affected. I'm not saying people aren't, and I do have empathy. But if anyone understands this tariff strategy, we know that we have to see this through. It is not sustainable for us to continue to rely on China for so many critical goods. And by the way, since this just came up, I don't remember exact numbers or anything, but I do know a lot of the electronic parts, pieces, things that go into manufacturing these electronic goods. The guy talked about studio equipment. A lot of that stuff is in the exempted product categories now. So I think if there's a slowdown, it's going to be in like, I don't even know, strollers, toys. I mean, stuff that we can live without for a little bit. I mean, that's what they're asking people to do, is live without cheap Chinese tchotchkes for a little bit. If our government and its people could just be disciplined for a little while, China and the U.S. will come to a mutually beneficial deal. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
People from buying the goods once they're here. This rhetoric seems like they're stopping goods from even coming here. So maybe stores are going, I can't afford to buy that or to sell it at that price, therefore I'm not going to buy it. Therefore there won't be any.
Or the stuff that will come over here, once it's gone for a few months.
So there's minimal stuff. So it seems like there's going to be less consumption on behalf of the major corporations.
It says the impact will be felt most acutely in the coming weeks and months, with lower cost footwear, apparel, toys, electronics being particularly hard to find. Perishable items like apple juice and fish may also be scarce due to limited shelf life.
So what was it? Apparel,
low cost footwear, toys, electronics, seafood, apple juice. It just says perishable items, period. See, that's going to be tough because these is a lot of back to school stuff. There's a lot of back to school stuff in the
I'm
middle of the
most
summer.
concerned about like people and their kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you need specific things for your kids. You need diapers, right?
They said the price of baby strollers doubled.
So, but a stroller is something that you buy once, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a couple, whatever. But like, what are the things that moms and dads are buying every single week for their kids? So there's certain foods that are going to skyrocket that you should store. Is it like baby formula? Like
Perishable items for sure.
so what? Like a list of these things would be really helpful, I think, for the listeners. And for me, shit, like let's get ahead of it. If it's diapers, all right, let me buy 5 boxes of diapers right now.
Yeah.
Get us through the summer.
Interestingly, I think Amazon was going to put it essentially
You saw that.
the tariff tax on the website to show you how much.
Then Trump
items
Daddy
were-
called.
said, no, you don't.
Daddy called.
Because what they were going to do is go, here's our price, and then here's the added tax because of tariffs.
I'm gonna tell you why I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that because you're gonna have a lot of companies who are gonna jack their prices up just because they can. Price gouging is a real motherfucking
Yep.
thing. So if you have
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
if on Amazon it says this is because of tariffs, if you see somebody jacking their price up and they don't have this is because of tariffs, that's just them price gouging.
I can't prove it. I feel instinctively that's been going on for the last 15 years.
It has.
Like
What do you
if
mean,
I'm
Chris?
paying $5
Son.
for a coffee, a croissant still costs the same amount.
Son,
Yes.
let me
What?
tell you something about that. You're speaking so much truth. There was a time we were growing up, and I'm not trying to be like an old head here, but like
Right.
a regular, what we call drip coffee, just a cup of coffee, was like $1.50.
$1.25.
$1.20. And then Starbucks introduces the espresso-based drinks. And we're convinced that by doing an espresso-based drink, that it's more expensive. So we start spending like $4 for an espresso-based drink. Then all of a sudden, the drip coffee that is not an espresso-based drink, that is just a batch made with grounds coffee
Right.
beverage, started costing just as much as the espresso-based drink. That right there is this price gouging you're talking about. You get us comfortable spending $4 for a cup of coffee, and then all of a sudden you raise the price of the cheap coffee to
Absolutely.
the same.
And cookies. And
Is anything on that list that Charlamagne read from that article, is there anything he listed that you can't live without? Perishable items is a pretty broad category, Charlamagne. Is a stroller shortage going to bring down the American economy? Is a shortage of anything that we don't absolutely need every day to live going to put us in a recession? I don't think so. Everything that they're talking about on here is speculation. And I completely acknowledge what I say is speculation. I understand that I could be wrong. It remains to be seen if Trump's tariff strategy works out. But I don't think they'd even be talking about the tariffs are going to cause a recession if it weren't for the mainstream liberal news media blasting that message to scare people on a daily basis. How come when I watch all these different shows to find clips, I never hear any of them talk about the fact that the Dow Jones and the New York Stock Exchange are both up 9 consecutive days? That's the highest in a long time for both of them. Could it maybe be because it doesn't go along with the fear-mongering that the mainstream media is promoting? I don't know. Let's wrap up the video.
and croissants and muffins and everything associated with. So now the experience of going and getting a cup of coffee and a
You're like,
snack.
You know what? Though?
$10
I don't even think
easy.
that's price gouging. I think that is they know y'all got an addiction. When a motherfucker has an addiction, you can charge him whatever. Like y'all are addicted to caffeine. So
It's
like
not caffeine, it's also the experience.
Yes.
well, same thing. Once they got you in the store, they know what you're going there for.
They know that we
Right.
start our morning with a cup of
It's
coffee.
a habit.
We like one in the afternoon.
That's right.
But there's something specific about, like, this is the annoying thing about that Amazon tariff thing, right? Is that they're going, hey, things are more expensive because of these tariffs, so we're going to show this tariff price so you don't think it's us. Okay. Well, you never posted like the cost of making the good for you and then what you charge.
No, that's that. Now you're talking. Now.
Because-
they're not going to tell you that it costs $3 to make in China.
Exactly. So it's like, that's why on some level I get the Trump administration be like, nah, don't do this fuck shit. You were making this, you were charging 300% more for this item, and now that they're the tariffs, you want to blame it on us? You guys were gouging like a motherfucker before. Stop using this as an
And
excuse.
it's not that Amazon was gouging.
Schultz, he's making some sense there, but what do you guys think about this conversation around on tariffs. And what do you think? Do you think it's going to be the end of our country because Donald Trump wants to balance our trade position with the entire globe because we've been getting this shit kicked out of us for years and no administration has done anything about it? Or do you think things will work themselves out and our resilient markets will probably experience some more volatility, but in the end remain strong and continue to grow? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you in the next one.